video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how I created this makeup look today. So, funny thing about this look, if you guys follow me on Instagram, then you already know what I'm about to tell you. But basically, I created this look yesterday. I posted on Instagram because in the process of doing the look, you guys know I usually do one eye, make sure I like it, and then I do the other eye. And that's just out of habit at this point because I do like to obviously film the look for you guys. So I did one eye, posted on Instagram that I hated it, and asked you guys over on Instagram if I should finish the look. You guys said yes, and so I did, and I still was not happy with it. There was just certain things that were just not my vibe, and although you guys said you loved it, thank you so much, but although you guys said you loved it, I was like, no, like I know deep down in my soul I can do better. So I woke up today and I did the look all over again, and it was really the color combo that I loved, not so much the style of the eyeshadow that I created. So I redid it today. This is what it's looking like. Honey, she's giving spring, she's giving pastel, she's giving colorful, she is just giving positivity with this look. It is so beautiful. I love it so much. Very minimal on the lower lash line with the pop of color in the waterline, and I am obsessed. I'm so happy that I decided to redo this look, and I am so happy with the way it turned out the second time around. So I'm super excited to jump into today's makeup tutorial. I know I've been doing so many makeup tutorials, but I do have other videos coming. I'm going to be doing a Sephora haul very soon, as well as the Sephora recommendation sale. You guys, the Sephora sale is coming. I'm so excited. My cart is jam-packed with stuff, and you guys already know every time the Sephora sale is around the corner, every single brand wants to launch something new. So it's like you're constantly adding to your cart. So I'm very excited for that. By the way, I'm speaking super softly because Kiki's already sleeping. It's actually 12 o'clock in the morning that I'm doing this intro. So I'm trying to be nice and quiet and considerate. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into today's video. Before we jump in, please don't forget to give this video a huge thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you guys have not already. And of course, without further ado, if you would like to see how I created this super beautiful look that I'm absolutely obsessed with, then just keep on watching. Hey guys, happy Monday. So my apologies for not posting this past Friday, but this past Saturday I actually had my first masterclass, and so I was so caught up with just making sure everything was as perfect as I can get it, and really just prep and prepare myself for my first ever masterclass. So it went well, it was amazing, and for any of you that attended that are watching today's video, thank you so much. I hope you learned something new. So for today's look, I'm going to be using the Bperfect Carnival 3 Love Tahiti palette, and you guys just seen that I did already prep my eyelid with the P.LOUISE base in the shade Rumor 2.5. So the first shade I'm going to be using in this palette is the shade Blackberry. It is a super beautiful deep purple. So I have noticed that when using the Love Tahiti palette, sometimes the deeper shades, when you apply them, they aren't as pigmented as they look like they're going to be in the palette, if that makes sense. So although the shade Blackberry is super dark and deep, I really have to build it up and really pack it on to get it to be its truest color. So what I'm doing is packing it into my crease, and then of course I'm going to wing it out on the outer corner because this is going to be a full cut crease look. The next shade I'm going to go into is the shade Grape, and this is another one of those colors that kind of come off a little lighter when you apply it to the lid itself, but nonetheless, it is such a beautiful color. So I'm using that shade to start to blend out the shade Blackberry, and then I'm also going to go into the shade Lilac, and I'm taking it on a more fluffier brush, but it's still a blending brush. So although it's applying color, it's also blending it at the same time, and I'm just using that shade to go right over the shade Grape just to make sure everything looks really nice and blended. And then of course I'm going to go back in and just re-intensify everything, and then I'm also going in with the black eyeshadow, and that one is called Black Beach. Now this is going to add intensity and just make everything look 10 times more intense. It's beautiful. So I went off camera and just went ahead and cut out my crease, basically cleaned it up with a Q-tip and some micellar water, and then just like that, the crease is cut. If you're interested in knowing what product I used to cut my crease, it is the P.LOUISE Blank Canvas base. It is amazing. So jumping into the next palette, this is the P.LOUISE Watch the Queen Conquer palette. So this palette right here has two sides. It has this side right here, and then on the opposite side it has your beautiful pinks and purples. But for today's look, I needed a really beautiful yellow chartreuse. So I mixed those three shades, and I'm just packing it on the lid. And just a little tip, when you want to pack on eyeshadow super close to where you cut your crease, definitely use a tiny detailed brush so that way you do not mess up all the blending and you don't get that color into the purple. So definitely use that tip if you have not yet. Now I'm going to go ahead and take a piece of tape. This is going to be your best friend. You could definitely do this part without the tape, but then you'll have to clean up the outer corner. So this kind of just helps you and kind of just makes the process a little bit easier. So what I'm going to do is go back in with every single purple shade that I used. So I'm first going in with the shade Blackberry, then I'm also going to go in with the shade Grape, and then of course I'm going to top it off with the shade Lilac. And I am just blending. The only thing I will say is I didn't want to take it too into the inner part of the eye. I kind of wanted to keep the eye very open towards the inner part because I'm going to be doing that inner corner wing. So I kept it more towards the outer corner for sure. And then I did add some black eyeshadow for some intensity, and this is what it looked like when I removed the tape. So I went off camera and did my liner. I just did a black liner and then outlined the black liner with the Made by Mitchell liner in Sugar Rush. So beautiful, and it just took this look to another level. This has been my go-to. I love doing this with my liner. So now for lashes, I'm going in with these Kiss lashes. I literally went to Ulta and bought like 10 pairs of these lashes. These are in the style Velvet, and they are bomb, you guys. Wait till you see me put them on. But quickly, I just went ahead and curled my lashes, and now I'm going in with some mascara. This is actually my KKW Beauty mascara. I have been trying to get every little ounce of it out, but she's pretty dry. But anyway, this is what the lash looks like. How beautiful. It's perfect. It's wispy. It doesn't cover up the look, so you're still able to see all the hard work that you did. And I am just obsessed. So definitely go and check them out. So now we're going to work on the face makeup. And you guys, the day before this video, I filmed another look and I used that iconic London illuminating primer. If you guys seen that video, and honey, it broke me out. So the breakouts aren't too bad. They're more like kind of like little red bumps, definitely a reaction to the primer. So because of that, I definitely wanted to use a very high coverage foundation. So this right here is the Mora Beauty Complete Wear Foundation. I do mix two different shades. I'm using the shade 300 and 325. One is a little warm and the other one is neutral. And I'm going to go ahead and apply this with my e.l.f. sponge. This specifically is the sponge from the Cookies and Cream collection. I decided for cream bronzer today to use one that I love, and I forgot how pigmented this is. This is the Huda Beauty Cream Contour. I believe it's called the Tantour Face and Body Cream Contour. It's amazing. I'm using mine in the shade Light, but also the shade Fair works for me as well. So I actually went overboard, as you guys could see. So a great way to fix that is to just take your beauty sponge, because it's always going to have leftover foundation, and just go over top of that cream bronzer, and it just helps to melt it into the skin. For concealer, I'm going to be using the JOUER Essential High Coverage Concealer, and you guys, I am so excited to tell you that I now have a code with JOUER. So if you guys would like to save some money on the JOUER website, definitely use code Tatanisha to save you some coins. I'm going to leave my discount codes down below in the description box. They're always there, so be sure to check there. But basically what I'm doing here is taking a flat brush and just basically putting the concealer underneath that wing, because your sponge is so big that if you try to blend it out with a sponge and go over your liner on accident, it's going to be a disaster. So taking this extra step just helps, so that way when you go in with your beauty sponge, you don't even need to get close to that liner, so it's not going to get ruined, and you can make sure that you don't mess up your liner, because if you mess it up, you're going to have to do it all over again, and it just takes more time, and nobody wants to do that. So now I'm just going in with my sponge, and can we just talk about how beautiful this concealer is? It is full coverage, hydrating, and it's stunning. I use mine in the shade Cream Cafe. So now what I'm going to do is set my under eye, but I'm going to be doing it a little bit different in today's video. So I'm going in with a pressed powder. This one specifically is from Artist Couture, and I'm still taking my powder puff. So apparently I've been seeing a few makeup artists on TikTok post about Makeup by Ariel's Instagram live recently, and if you don't know who he is, he's actually Kylie Jenner's makeup artist, and his pro tip was you should go in with a pressed powder on a powder puff and really press it into your skin. Now what this is going to do is going to smooth out your skin, it's going to set your concealer, and because it's a pressed powder, it's going to give you more coverage. After going in with the pressed powder, he also goes in with the loose powder, which I did that in today's video. So I'm using the Laura Mercier translucent powder. You guys can use whichever loose powder you love. And you guys, the difference was insane, especially for the camera. My under eyes have never looked so smooth. I was shook. So definitely try out this method if you have not already, because it's life-changing and I'm obsessed. To set the rest of my face, I just went back in with that Artist Couture powder, and then for bronzer, I'm gonna go in with the Morphe bronzer in the shade Originator. It is so good, and the color is perfect. It blends really well, and it's bronzy but not orange, if that makes sense. It's just beautiful. And then the brush that I'm using to apply it is actually a Jaclyn Hill and Morphe brush. It's just a big old bronzer brush, and I love it because it cuts my bronzing time in half, and I'm able to apply bronzer and blend it out all at the same time. For cream blush today, I decided to use the ColourPop blush stick. This one is in the shade Under Pressure. It's so beautiful. Honestly, sometimes I wear just this blush on its own because it's pigmented, it's blendable, and you guys can see I'm applying it over top of powder, and it's not disrupting my foundation whatsoever. And you guys can definitely build up this blush to be super bright and intense, but you can also apply a very light layer and it'll look very natural, kind of like just a natural flush on the cheeks. It is so beautiful. But for today's look, I did want to just set the cream in place. So I'm going to be using the Nars Blush in the shade Behave. This is one of my favorite blushes of all time. It doesn't look like much in the pan, but when you apply it to the skin, it is so gorgeous, and the tone goes with any single look that I do, and typically that's what I look for in a blush. So that is complexion so far. Let's go ahead and move back into the eyes. So for my waterline, I don't know why I didn't show it, but I did go in with the LA Girl Neon Shockwave liner in Screamin', which is the yellow, but then to make it a little more pastel, I went in with the Killer liner from Too Faced and Killer Cashmere. So it's like a nude liner. And then I did do my inner corner wing, which I could never get on camera, but I also did underline it with a little bit of that Made by Mitchell liner, and then I just went in with some mascara. So jumping in to highlights, this has been my go-to highlighter. This right here is the Makeup Forever Pro Light Fusion Highlight in 02. Very pretty, very skin-like, and when the light hits it, it just reflects off your skin so beautifully. If you haven't tried it, definitely give it a try. And another little tip that I do is I always go back in with my blush brush just to make sure everything looks really nice and blended and I don't have a stripe of highlight on my cheek. So to complete the look, I'm going to be going in with the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Mist. I like to spray a clean side of my beauty sponge and really press the setting spray into my skin. This is really going to set down all that powder and just give your skin a beautiful radiant glow. I will leave the lip combo down below in the description box, but here is the eyes up close and personal. They look so beautiful. This color combo is so stunning. I will say, if you do recreate this look, definitely take your time. It was very difficult to blend the purple with the yellow, but definitely also remember to tag me over on Instagram so I can check out your looks. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.